Here's something that drives me crazy. I spent years working in academic research labs, and I watched the same tragedy unfold over and over again. Brilliant scientists, people who could secure million-dollar grants, publish in top journals, push the boundaries of human knowledge, who absolutely could not lead their way out of a paper bag. These principal investigators, the professors who run labs, they're undeniably smart. But when it came to actually leading people, complete disaster. And you know what? This isn't just an academia problem. I see it everywhere. Brilliant engineers promoted to management. Talented developers made team leads. Star salespeople turned into sales managers. And they all struggle with the same issue. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. Technical expertise does not equal leadership ability. Being the best coder doesn't make you a good engineering manager. Being a brilliant researcher doesn't make you a good lab director. And this gap between technical skill and leadership ability, it destroys organizations from the inside out. So in this episode, we're diving into Dave Ramsey's EntreLeadership, a book that tackles this exact problem head on. After building a multi-million-dollar company from a card table in his living room, Ramsey distills 20 years of hard-won leadership wisdom into principles any leader can apply. Whether you're running a team of 3 or 300, whether you're in a lab, a startup, or a corporate office, these insights will change how you think about leadership. I'm Lei, and let's get into it. Let me tell you about the 2 toxic patterns I witnessed constantly in those research labs. There's the micromanager, the PI who dictates every single detail. Do exactly as I say, exactly when I say it, exactly how I say it. Team members become glorified robots, too terrified to think independently. Then there's the complete opposite, the absentee boss. Here's your project, figure it out, see you in 5 years. No guidance, no mentorship, just sink or swim. And guess what? Most people sink. Both approaches create hostile environments where talented people burn out and eventually flee to industry jobs where at least someone understands basic human management. And here's where EntreLeadership introduces a concept that changed how I think about organizations entirely. It's called the law of the lid, and here it is. You are the limiting factor in your organization. Your education, your character, your capacity, your ability, your vision, they literally cap what your company can achieve. Want to know what's holding back your dreams? Look in the mirror. Leadership expert John Maxwell calls this the law of the lid, and it's brutally honest. Whatever happens at the head of the organization affects the entire body. Your strengths become your company's strengths. Your weaknesses become your company's weaknesses. Companies led by sales experts excel at marketing. Companies led by impulsive entrepreneurs move too fast without strategic planning. This applies directly to those dysfunctional research labs I mentioned. The PI who can't communicate clearly, their lab becomes a place where nobody knows what's expected. The PI who doesn't trust their team, micromanagement becomes the culture. It all flows from the top. But here's the good news. Once you recognize you're the lid, you can work on raising it. Personal growth directly translates to organizational growth. The question isn't whether you have areas to improve. Everyone does. The question is whether you'll do the work to become the leader your vision requires. Now, great leaders don't just work harder. They work with clarity about what actually matters. And this is where most leaders completely mess up. They confuse being busy with being productive. They confuse urgent with important. Let me share a story that perfectly illustrates this. There was once a child in the 1960s whose parents were real estate agents. In their house, the telephone was sacred, the absolute lifeline of their business. Proper phone etiquette was drilled in with military precision. Fast forward decades. That same person, now a successful businessman with teenage daughters, still jumped every time the phone rang. One day, he realized something obvious. The phone at his house was never for him. His wife's friends calling about the gym, his daughter's social lives. Yet he kept leaping to answer it because of childhood conditioning. So he stopped. Completely. No more taking messages for people who weren't even trying to reach him. Voicemail could handle it. The ringing phone felt urgent, but answering it wasn't important to his goals or responsibilities. This brings us to Stephen Covey's framework that every leader needs to understand. all your activities fall into 4 categories. There's important and urgent, paying payroll, meeting deadlines, handling real crises. These keep you alive, but shouldn't consume your entire day. Then there's not important and not urgent, time wasters like excessive social media, pointless meetings, busy work. Most driven leaders naturally avoid this. But here's where it gets tricky. There's not important, but urgent. The ringing phone, email notifications, coworkers with quick questions. They feel urgent, but often aren't important. This is the deceptive quadrant that eats your day if you let it. And finally, the most crucial category for leaders, important but not urgent. This is where real leadership happens. Strategic planning, leadership development, mentoring your team, reading and professional development, relationship building, thinking time, culture building activities. None of these are urgent today. You could skip strategic planning, postpone that mentoring session, cancel that team building activity. Nothing breaks immediately. But here's the devastating truth. If you avoid these activities, they eventually become urgent. Don't mentor your team. You'll have time when they all quit, and you're desperately trying to replace them. Don't do strategic planning. You'll find time when competitors eat your lunch. EntreLeaders ruthlessly protect time for important but not urgent activities. This is working on your business, not just in it. This is where real leadership happens. So how do you actually prioritize? Here's a simple but powerful method. Every morning, list everything that needs doing today. Mark must-do items with an A. Should-do items get a B. Everything else gets a C. Then rank your A items. Which single task means success today? That's your A1, your most important task. Continue with A2, A3, then B1, B2. Start your day attacking A1. When someone appears at your door with a problem, ask yourself, is this more important, not more urgent, than my A1? Usually not. Now let's talk about the biggest bottleneck in most organizations, the leader who makes every single decision themselves. Bad leaders make every decision, creating massive bottlenecks. Good leaders teach their teams how to make decisions. Leadership teacher Steve Brown introduces this powerful metaphor. Imagine every team member walks into your office with a problem. Visualize them with a monkey on their shoulder. When they say, "We have a problem," that monkey jumps onto your desk. If team members drop by all day leaving their monkeys, you'll soon be running a zoo. Your job as an EntreLeader? Make sure when your team member leaves, they take their monkey with them. Here's how you do it. Step 1. When someone brings a problem, don't solve it immediately. Ask them to return with 3 solutions and a recommended course of action. Step 2. Eventually, team members should only bring problems after identifying 3 solutions and a recommendation. This creates teachable moments where you can show them your thought process. Step 3. After solving problems together repeatedly, good team members start recognizing your decision-making patterns. They begin to understand not just what you decide, but why. Step 4. Team members email you detailing the problem, solutions, and how they already solved it. Now you're running a business instead of it running you. This is the goal of leadership development. Let me quickly touch on what creates real momentum in organizations, because this is where everything comes together. It's not random. There's a formula. Focus times intensity times time times your higher purpose. Focus means staying on mission even when everyone's distracted. Intensity means bringing passion and energy, not just attention. Time means maintaining that focused intensity, not just for a week or a month, but for years. A billionaire was once asked for his best business advice. His answer? Read The Tortoise and the Hare. Because every time I read that book, the tortoise wins. Our culture is full of hares who can't keep their eye on the ball long enough to finish the race. And that higher purpose, that's the multiplier. When your why is bigger than yourself, you can endure setbacks that would crush someone motivated only by personal gain. Finally, let's talk about the ultimate test of leadership, letting go. You can delegate to someone to the extent you trust their integrity and competency. Integrity means they do what they say they'll do, their values align with yours, and they tell you the truth even when it's uncomfortable. Competency means they have the skills to do the job well and can handle problems without constant supervision. You need both. Someone with integrity but no competency will try hard but fail. Someone with competency but no integrity will succeed until they betray you. Here's the key. Micromanage only when training. When someone first joins your team, close supervision isn't micromanaging. It's training. Once they've proven themselves, back off. And here's something crucial. Give authority with responsibility. The fastest way to destroy culture is holding someone accountable for results without giving them decision-making power. So where does this leave us? Whether you're a brilliant researcher struggling to build a functional lab, an entrepreneur launching from your garage, or a corporate leader trying to build something that works, the principles of EntreLeadership apply. Technical brilliance alone won't build great organizations. You need both the passion of the entrepreneur and the wisdom of the leader. The journey isn't about overnight success. It's about recognizing that you are the lid on your organization, getting clear on vision, mastering prioritization so you work on what matters, not just what's urgent, teaching your team to make decisions, and delegating based on proven trust. Those brilliant researchers who lose talent constantly, they're not bad people. They're just technically brilliant people who never learned how to lead. Don't be that person. Don't let your expertise become an excuse for poor leadership. Your personal growth limits determine your organization's ceiling. Stop reading and start leading. Your future team is waiting for a leader worth following. If you want to dive deeper into these concepts, check out the full article on this topic at bullishbooks.com. I break down all the frameworks in much more detail, including the complete urgent versus important matrix, the momentum theorem formula, and specific strategies for building loyalty through communication. You'll find the link in the description. And if you found this valuable, subscribe to the channel because we're breaking down the best business and personal development frameworks every week. I'm Lei, and I'll see you in the next episode.